I've spent the last 18 years in the military and the emergency services, and I'm going to discuss with you exactly how I've eaten, my approach to nutrition to get lean, strong and build muscle. And it's the exact system that I teach the guys within the ignition system, and they're all getting incredible results. Now, there's loads of fad diets out there: keto, the cabbage soup diet, Cambridge diet or 1-to-1, juice cleanses, whatever it may be. These are all fad or crash diets, and they're all bullshit. And they're all bullshit because they're mega restrictive on either calories or macronutrients. They're boring as fuck because they ban you from eating all of your favourite foods. They're just daft because they're all a short-term fix for a long-term problem, and it's never going to work. Yeah, you'll see results whilst you're doing them, which is probably going to be tops 2 weeks. But as soon as you stop doing it, you go back to eating how you were before, and lo and behold, the weight's back on. So they're bullshit. What I'm going to talk through with you today is a long-term, sustainable method of eating that you can apply to your life right now, because in all honesty, it's probably not that different. There's just some little tweaks that are going to move the needle in the direction that you need to go to be successful with your goals. So let's get into it. The calorie deficit. You have to be in a calorie deficit if you want to lose fat. And I don't care what anyone tells you. If some pleb has told you that they've lost fat without being in a calorie deficit, they're chatting shit. So what you need to do is go onto Google, type in calorie calculator. It'll ask you your age, your height, your weight and your activity levels, and it'll fire you out a number that's your maintenance. So your maintenance basically means that if you eat that amount of calories, you're not going to gain weight and you're not going to lose weight. With the guys in the ignition system, I always find their maintenance, so I'll work out for them, and then we'll drop by 500. So they're in a 500 calorie deficit. Now, if someone is slightly heavier, you are quite overweight, then there is wiggle room there to bring that calorie deficit down even further. But a good starter for 10 is a 500 calorie deficit. So get on Google and find out your personal 500 calorie deficit target number. The next thing that we have to address is protein. Protein in Latin means primary or first, so we're going to address that first. Protein is key when it comes to fat loss. It's going to help you build and maintain muscle. So when you lose that fat, you don't just look like you've been on crack for a year. Protein also takes longer to digest than carbohydrates and fats, which means that you're going to be fuller for longer if you up that number. Now, I always start the guys at 1.7 grams per kilogram of body weight per day. So if you weigh 100 kilos, you're going to times 100 by 1.7. So your target protein would be 170 grams per day. Right then, we've boxed off your overall calorie target, a 500 calorie deficit. We've boxed off your protein target, 1.7 grams per kilogram of body weight per day. So those remaining calories that we have out of that total, are they going to come from fats or carbs? And the truth is, it doesn't really matter. It's going to be dependent on what you enjoy and, your lifestyle. With a little caveat to that, I always advise 20% of your overall calories coming from fats, because fats are so important for lots of things in your body. Cognitive function, hormone production, to name a couple. But then other than that, it really doesn't matter whether they're coming from carbs or fats. Protein and fat, I would say, are essential macronutrients because of the functions that they provide in your body. However, carbohydrates, I wouldn't be neglecting those, because when we are training, we're lifting some weights, they're going to be our primary source of energy. So that's you pretty much set up numbers wise for your overall approach. Let's move on to food type. We're not going to ban anything. Now, foods are not inherently good or bad. Some are higher in calories, some are lower in calories. Some are more nutritional, some are less nutritional. Now, our ultra-processed and processed foods generally tend to be low volume, high calorie. They don't have much nutrition in them. Whereas our single ingredient whole foods, so anything that's been living or grown in the ground, those tend to be higher volume for the amount of calories they are, and they also tend to be more nutritionally dense. There's lots of nutrition in them. When we look at our overall diet, I think it's really, really important to have a nice balance. And the balance I would always shift for over time is 80% whole nutritional foods and 20% whatever the fuck you want. Now, the 80% of whole nutritional foods are going to give you lots of food volume. They're going to keep you fuller for longer, and they're also going to have all your vitamins and minerals for optimal health and well-being. And the 20% eating whatever the fuck you want is going to keep you sane, and hopefully, because you're not banning yourself from eating your favourite foods, it should reduce any cravings for them. In summary, we've got a 500 calorie deficit. We've got 1.7 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day. We've got about 20% fats. And then we're going to aim for 80% whole nutritional foods and 20% whatever the fuck you want. And there you have it. That is the nutritional approach that I have used for the past 18 years whilst being in the military and emergency services. And it's what we do with the guys in the ignition system. Pretty straightforward. If you follow those basic guidelines, you're going to see results. You should be able to adhere to it, be consistent with it, and it's sustainable. I'll do another video in the future when we look at implementation, particularly around shifts, a busy schedule, meal prep, etc., etc. If you would like some help to address your nutrition, your training, your recovery, so that we can move the needle in the direction that you want to be going to get results to transform your life, have a look at comments below and I'll put the link in there. You can check out the landing page, all the info that you need.